2 words: the bear. The Revenant is probably one of the most intense films I've ever seen. Going into The Revenant, I knew very little about the story, so just to break it down, Leonardo DiCaprio plays Hugh Glass, who is left for dead by his team members and is left in the wilderness to find his way back. It's also a revenge story, no spoilers, but there are very violent motivations for this character's journey. The first thing that struck me about this movie was the camera. Alejandro Iñárritu is very fond of his continuous shots. I noticed it in Birdman, I think everyone noticed it in Birdman, the way that scenes would last upwards of 5 minutes long just because the camera refused to cut away. It would follow them all around a room and would just film everything. So if one actor messed up in a scene, they'd have to start the whole scene again. And they could have been 4 minutes 59 seconds into a 5-minute scene, but they'd have to start it again. The same thing worked in The Revenant, the only difference was they were outside battle scenes. By the time I became aware of it in the opening, I was very adamant that I was going to watch very closely to make sure the camera didn't cut away. I was waiting for it to go behind a pole, or a shed, or a person, and it would completely black out for a fraction of a second, and I could think in my head, okay, well, they would be able to cut away to a different film if they wanted to in that moment. But no, it didn't. And I think everyone and their mamas know that Leonardo DiCaprio gave the performance of his career in this movie. Leo, Prince of the City, has come a long way, and by God does he deserve this Oscar for this performance. While this film is a stunning piece of cinematography, the sets are beyond amazing. Some of the shots they managed to capture in this film are just mind-blowing. They look like something out of simulation that couldn't actually be taken in real life, but you're watching it in front of you and you're like, oh my God, they actually managed to get this shot. But this film has very minimal characters. I'd say there's maybe 4 characters of note, maybe 5 at a stretch, but primarily this film is about Leonardo DiCaprio's Hugh Glass. And there's not much dialogue in this film. If you're going in expecting to hear Leo's wonderful voice work its magic, you're going to the wrong film, because he spends most of the movie shivering, scared, and in pain. And my goodness, it is amazing. And the performances from the supporting actors in this movie were just as noteworthy. Tom Hardy is amazing in this movie. The supporting actor category is so crowded this year, and no one really expected Tom Hardy to get nominated for it, and I hadn't seen it when the Oscar nominations got announced, but I knew that he wasn't nominated anywhere else. So I was really surprised, as well as I think lots of other people were, to see him there. But after seeing the movie, he deserves it. Domhnall Gleeson, who I think just managed to get himself in every film released last year, was also great. Will Poulter, who I didn't know was in the film until about an hour before I saw it. I was like, oh, Will Poulter. I've been waiting for that guy to do something other than The Maze Runner. There are scenes in this film that had my heart about to leap from my chest. Particularly the bear scene. Everyone knows about the bear scene. Whether you know what actually happens in it or not, there are some pretty unfavourable rumours out there about what this scene actually is. Just putting it out there. Iñárritu has said it, this is not a spoiler or whatever. Leonardo DiCaprio does not get raped by a bear. Oh my God. But what actually happens is equally as horrifying. It just had me on the edge of my seat. Literally on the edge of my seat. I was sat there just perched forward, not wanting to lean back, because I felt like if I did lean back, I just had to jump straight forward again. And it just didn't let up. It was so unforgiving and so raw. This is a long film. This film is 2 hours and 40 minutes, I think. And honestly, there's a lot of spaces in this film where not that much happens. And in the days before Google Maps, finding your way back to a group that you have no idea where they are in the wilderness probably takes a while. But you don't care. You don't care that not much is happening, because it's such a character piece that everything you watch this man go through, you are engrossed. What I didn't expect were the more abstract sequences in this film. I knew that Iñárritu is fond of abstract sequences. I mean, come on, Birdman is just one big abstract masterpiece. But it wasn't quite as I expected it. I was very taken aback by a lot of the scenes I saw. I'm not going to spoil anything because I think you should see it for yourself, but there were scenes in there that I definitely would not think would exist in any degree. The whole film, I was just sat there thinking, if I was an actor, this is the one film I would trade my left leg to not have to work on. Even being a crew member on this film, I would give my left leg to not have to work on because my god, it looked cold. I have genuine suspicions that the icicles and bits of snow that got stuck in Leonardo DiCaprio's wonderful man beard in this movie, which I'm very glad is gone now, I am convinced that that's not makeup. I'm convinced that they are genuinely bits of snow that are in Leonardo DiCaprio's beard because of how freaking cold this movie looks. I mean, DiCaprio himself has said that this is the most challenging film he's ever worked on, and rightfully so. Production was hell. They could only film for very few hours a day because of the light that they had in the location. They had to move locations halfway through. It just seemed like a massive ordeal, but goodness did it pay off. I would give The Revenant a 9 out of 10. It was an outstanding achievement for film. I wouldn't be surprised if Inuyasha grabbed Best Picture again this year. Thank you for watching my review of The Revenant. If you want to view more, you can check out my channel. You can subscribe to see when I make a new one. Again, you don't have to. You can leave and go watch Chris Stuckman's review of something else. I won't be offended. But thank you for watching and stay tuned for my other reviews.